We're going. Wait, hold on. Okay, yeah. We're going. We're doing the things. We're doing it now. It's going now. Now.
Oh,
now we're doing the things. Yeah, you're supposed to hit it at the now. Hence the now yelling.
I'm tired.
This is what's in the box. What's in the box? What's in the box? What's in the box? What's in the fucking box? This is what's in the box.
Wait, so is this just a prop then?
Hello?
Alright, I don't watch, I listen.
No, it's not a prop. It's real life. This thing actually works. It's a mic that picks up things.
But does it work for this?
No.
Okay.
No, it doesn't.
It looks fancy.
Yeah, it looks nice. It makes me feel nice. Plus, it annoys Cheryl because it's something that I mess with the entire time I talk. And she gets really annoyed with it very fast.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I also want to get a second. I want to get a second. Well, eventually, I want to get this one to work.
That would be ideal.
But since I'm just doing it with my phone, I can't really do that because there's no hookups that will go to my phone that'll make it sound.
Can't do it yet.
Yeah. I just need. Also, I need more space because there's not a whole lot of engineering.
From what I have seen, it looks
here.
More spacious than what we actually have.
I'm aware.
I wasn't anticipating it.
It looks nice compared to what you in real life. It looks actually semi-professional from like this side.
Yeah.
It's not a whole bunch of trash from that side.
It's not trash. It's just a collection.
It's memories. It's a collection of memories.
Boxed up and tucked away to not think about until you go, oh, hey, look at this.
This is why we don't go to therapy. Because we do this.
Shove things in boxes.
On the inside.
Those boxes look like they're going to spill.
The higher they get, the more they're going to fall. Anyway. Yeah, this is what's in the box. Normally with Zach and Cheryl, but not with Zach and Cheryl. Today
not Cheryl.
Not Cheryl. Today, Megan!
Hi.
Hello!
We're having a camera. Last time we didn't have a camera.
I know. Cheryl doesn't like it either. You get used to it.
Do you?
Yeah. I mean, I do. I don't know if everybody else does. So, how you doing?
Good. Stuffy, because there's like 1,800 hay fields out here.
Yeah.
And
I'm
not used to hay fields anymore, so I'm not sick. Promise.
I'm not sick, I'm just dying. So it's totally
this
different.
Is with allergy meds, prescription and over the counter.
That sucks.
Wonderful.
So this is why you only make a trip every couple of months.
Well, Phil's the same way, so his allergies get really bad when we get out here too.
Yeah, that's why it takes you so long to get out here, because you need that long to recover from the last time you were out here.
Pretty much. Although allergies are bad everywhere, but I don't think I should want a whole podcast about allergies.
What kind of meds? What are you doing? No, I don't want to talk about
this. Like, we can go into this. I've got stories from when I was 6. We can just keep going.
No, as I was gonna say, as you probably remember, I had an ex-girlfriend with allergy issues. I know. I've seen.
I'd say fun. Something, but I feel like it'd be a condemning statement here. So maybe. We'll save that for after camera.
So, for those that don't know, although the last time we spent talking about religion, like almost the whole time, that was nice.
It was religion and friendships and faith.
Yeah.
Religion is different than faith.
So. Yeah, it is.
And if you want to know more, go back and listen to the last one.
Yeah. So for those, because it's been a minute, for those of you that don't know, this is Megan. I've known her for a very long time.
Half my life.
Yeah. It's crazy. Look back on that shit. And we've dealt with a lot together as friends.
Not like from each other.
No, but just like no, yeah.
Stuff that we had a very tumultuous friendship.
We hated each other. Then now we're kind of okay. But the last time you didn't have a kid.
Yeah, I did.
You didn't.
I had Amaryllis. I didn't have a kid.
You had just had Amaryllis the last time.
Yeah.
And we didn't talk about it.
No.
So I'm going to talk about it now.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
I was like, my child is definitely alive.
So I know some of these answers, but I'm going to ask you anyway.
Okay.
Oh, and you can ask me anything you want if it pops in your head. Okay.
Anyway. Listen to the podcast.
I'm gonna keep reminding people. I can talk all day. It'd be nice to ask questions.
I've known you for half my life. I know these things.
It'd be nice to be asked questions sometimes.
Would it cry for help?
Would it matter for what? So, have you always wanted to be?
Yes.
Can you let me finish the? Can you let me finish the question? Have you always wanted to be a parent, or did that kind of like come later? Like, what's the youngest? Again, I know your answer. What's the youngest you remember like having that? I guess not that thought of like I want to be a mom, but like that maternal like thought process.
Well, a conscious maternal thought process, probably not until I was like 10, and a more like basic one.
No, it's just too close to it. I'm telling you, I'm gonna do it the entire time.
I can see her frustration. Anyway, but like, definitely since I was like a little kid. I mean, I always played with like dolls, and most kids, boys or girls, play with dolls. You know, just as they're exploring different like roles that they see the adults in their life play, especially like the kids, you know, representing the things that their parents are doing with them, they do with the dolls. But like, I know I was like, all my like baby dolls had very specific names and personalities. They and I didn't have anybody to like reference it really because I was like 4 or 5 and I hadn't started school yet, and I didn't really have. I mean, I had younger cousins, I guess, but none that I can remember like being a baby when I was that young until my first younger brother was born. But yeah, just definitely that. And then as I got older, it was like more so, and then I had it in my head, and it's still like, it doesn't look the same anymore, but like the idea to have like 4 of my own kids and then more somehow else, be it adoption, be it foster care, be it just the work that I do and how I love the kids that I work with or whatever, has definitely been there for a long time. It used to be 4 to 5 of my own, and then like we'll adopt like 6. And
yeah, like, didn't you? I remember at one time you said you wanted like 10. What was it, like 10 or 11?
10 to 12 kids.
Yeah, 10 to 12 kids. 10 to 12 kids, and I was like, fuck that.
But the caveat to that, though, hold on. The caveat to that, though, was rooted in like, I want to adopt kids that are close to aging out. So like, I wouldn't have a house full of little kids, but holidays I'd have a house full, because then they'd have a place to go. Because I still see it as a big problem, is kids being like aged out of the system, having nobody to call family.
And no avenue, no avenues either.
And no way to like really start a tradition unless they start it themselves. And there's a whole bunch of other crap that they have to work through. And but yeah, just so that's still like kind of there. But also working in foster care and working with foster youths. It's something that I don't know if my family as a unit is prepared for in the season that we're in now. Right now. I definitely don't think it's a right now thing. I think it would have to be a later thing. And I also know, like...
So,
yeah.
As a joke, because again, I know the answer to this. So does Phil know this is a plan, or are you kind of just waiting to tell him? You're going to find out now?
Before Phil and I, so we talked for probably 6 months before we started dating. And we started dating when the world shut down, and we were like, well, now we're trapped in a house. So.
I was going to say, we don't have really any choice now.
Yeah, I guess we better well try this and see if it works. Which is like...
Man, could you imagine... Hold on, I've said this before. Could you imagine getting kicked out during COVID? Oh. Like you get like all those people that...
You're talking about him or me getting kicked out?
No, I'm talking about in general. I'm talking about like the world as a whole shut down, right? So people like...
And having to have a breakup or something? Yeah.
Yeah, you think of like when Thanos snapped, like what if you're like pooping and all of a sudden you're like, oh shit. Then you come back. Like that kind of thing. Like what if like you're just like dating, or like you spent that night like over at somebody's house or whatever, and then all of a sudden, like
the world's like,
yeah.
Yeah. Well, the story about my relationship is a different type, but we went before we were like seriously talking. He sat down with me, and he like we were just talking as friends, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm not sure," because we both knew we were interested, but we both were like, "Hey, I just got out of some crap, and I just got out of some crap, so maybe we shouldn't." We ended up doing it anyway. Like,
it happens.
Yeah, and then it worked out so far. But then like he said he's like, I don't know if we should date because you're younger and I don't know if I want kids. And I was like, well, here's what I was thinking.
That's a very real statement. I'm just saying, that's like a very like real realization.
And like a very considerate one.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
A 25-year-old that's like still think. I mean, he had the two older girls. Well, at the time they weren't older. Now they're older. Hurts my heart.
Don't do it. Don't do it. It's an endless cycle. Don't think about it.
And like, side note, like Nathan's graduation last night was like it hit me in the feels because my youngest brother hit me in the feels because I went through my graduation like mentally, and then I was like, "Hey, Alot's gonna do this in 5 years," and I was like, "Oh, what? No, like, this can't happen."
Yeah.
And then like, of course, it moved down to like, and then Emma, and then Amaryllis.
Speaking of that, I had that. I thought about that. Me and I'm not gonna say details, but me and Cheryl were talking about something, and she was talking about how like this argument or whatever that she was having with somebody wasn't worth it. And I was like, but it is worth it. Like long term, it's worth it. And she's like, it's not because it had to do with Emma. She's like, it's not because I only got like 4 years left with Emma, and then she's out. And I was like, oh shit, that's right.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yep. I know how that goes. And
then the same thing. I started like putting that shit together, and I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah, you only have this amount of time with this. Kid, this amount of time with this kid. And but yeah. So anyway, obviously we dated, and I told him my whole thing, and his eyes got like stupid big. But I was like, hey, hold on.
Like normal people.
But I say, right? And I was like, okay, but most of them would be foster. And I said, the reason it's so high for me personally having kids is, I said, I don't want to not account for twins. But my other big thing, and that I had said for a long time before that, is not when I have kids, but if I have kids. Not when I get married, but if I get married. Do I want these things? Yes. Do I know that they're a guarantee? Nope. I mean, how many failed relationships and how many failed like, we're going to get married, babes.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I didn't believe it till there's a ring on it. And
but it worked out now.
Even then, I kind of didn't believe it, but thankfully he kind of knows that. And so he's like, we're getting married 10 days from when I proposed to you. So no worries, honey.
That's fair.
Yeah.
It's a fair compromise. I'm just saying.
Well, I think that was more for him too. Like, he has his reasons. We still ended up doing a ceremony anyway.
I want to go back. I want to go back to a part of that though. We can get back to this, but I want to go back to a part of that. So when Logan was born, and not, I don't know how this is going to come up, but it's not meant in the shade way. But when Logan was born, did you take that as like your baby? Like,
no.
Or was it kind of just like I don't know how, like a co-parenting like situation as far as like
I think for me, the parenting my sibling thing didn't happen until I was older. And when Nathan was born when I was 10. Because then I was able to do more of the caregiving stuff and able to do more of that kind of thing, and other factors applied as well. But then like with Logan, it's like I remember him being small. I remember hanging out with him. I mean, he was my little buddy, but I couldn't really play with him until like he was like 3, 4. Not like the way that I was playing. Like our play timeline of skills and we didn't really mesh, and I wasn't old enough to know or appreciate, I guess, how to play with him on his level, like how
instead of trying to bring him
to me. I go down to him.
Mhm.
And I can see that too with my older two daughters, like on how they play with Amaryllis, is how like they're really good, both of them,
Mhm.
at like getting to her level of play.
Mhm.
But still, they don't do the baby talk. They can talk to her like, you know,
Mhm.
they should. But they, you know, are using more simplified sentence structures. They're
Mhm.
doing, oh, is that what you have? And like, you know, and Amaryllis is like growing stupid fast. And so she's like already playing with babies, which is good. And we're trying to really, like, we started using the name with
Mhm.
her. And I'm not
Mhm.
going to say it on air, but I'll tell you off air. But,
Good cover.
yeah, I almost did it. And if I let it slip, I need you to edit it out.
I got it.
But like, you know, playing with the baby, and we have a blue one,
Mhm.
like one in blue. It's a blue baby.
It's a blue baby.
It's scary. But like,
can you play that song when it comes out in the delivery room? I'm blue.
Oh no!
Come on, it'd
No.
be great.
I think I'm gonna be preoccupied, but I mean,
well, tell Phil to. I think it'd be
he
great.
might be too, depending on how things go. But well, it's always the first time. Anyway,
Yeah.
but like she'll like hold it and like pat its back, and like she shares her passy with it. It's so cute.
Can I tell you something that Wyatt did when he was younger that was really funny? I have another question, but
Of course.
I can't remember how it started, but he like kept grabbing things and like making it a baby. Like baby has to go to sleep or whatever. Like and at that time with like next to no words, it was just mumbling. But he would like do stuff. So we bought
actions, yeah.
So we bought him a baby with a baby doll with a like milk thing, and then a bed that it came in. Right. Wasn't interested in any of that. The moment he got the baby, that was never ever used. The bed was fucking thrown away. And every now and then he'll do it. But yeah,
I'll just show you a picture. We got Amaryllis because
it was like 2 days.
She only had. She's got 2 baby dolls. One's got like a magnetic pacifier thing, which she loves, like using it. Oh my gosh, she's like, this is so cool.
I would.
And then the other one has like a bottle and like a little blankie and a little hat. She carries it by the hat. So cute because it's like one of those like little like tie hats. So she just got this little tie and like carries it around. But her hands are full of like her little fruit and veggies that she carries in her mouth and like just like oh my gosh, kid.
She's already getting them groceries out of the car.
Yeah. One trip, guys. One trip. But so we found a pretend like pack and play, and I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be for like one of those My Generation dolls or whatever that like are bigger. But I was like, it's a bed for her. It's only $5 because we looked at getting other ones, and I was like, I'm not paying that. Sorry. But like we got that for her, and she sits in it and like snuggles with her baby in the baby's pack and play thing, and she'll sit in there.
That's nice.
It's cute, and she loves it. I got pictures. I'll show you.
Wyatt
elated. She's elated to be in there.
Wyatt never liked anything that normal babies did, like sleeping in the pack and play or like the thing. Hated it. Never did it. We tried to do it for a while.
My aunt's kid won't.
We brought it on trips like his first 2 years and almost never used it.
She sleeps amazing, and she's slept amazing, and we feel like we're in for a reckoning.
Yeah, maybe.
And Phil, like, I love his confidence in me. It's very great, but like, well, the reason that she sleeps so good is because you were so good at like figuring out her schedule and her little things and like whatever and getting all that done. And I said, well, that's a part of it, but I feel like a big part of it's her temperament, and this one's gonna have a completely different. I mean, it will have a different temperament, but a completely different one. It could be like a 180. Like, and I used his older two as an example because I've heard stories of when they were a baby. Like Allie was really easy, textbook baby, like, and Emma had colic.
Well, that's that's how the girls were. Emma. I mean, you can ask Cheryl. Emma, she'll say it. Emma was like the perfect baby, like.
The trap children.
Napped up, yeah, the trap children, and Alice was the one that screamed all the time for everything, all the time. Never could not, yeah.
Yeah.
So good luck.
Thanks. I'm still excited. I don't know. I think it helps having Amaryllis be like that, and like we have a pretty good plan for how things work, and we're really blessed and fortunate to have Phil have the job that he has that allows us to do this kind of stuff, but like sleeping in shifts where he is really good at staying up late, like, and so he can stay up late till like 1 or 2 in the morning and then just sleep in. So like he can take like first shift. I'm good at falling asleep anytime, you know this. And so like I'm going to bed 7:30 till like 1. I think probably early on, like wake up partway through and like feed a kid. But like, and then take over second shift so that way we both get at least 6 hours consecutive. Because the first 2 weeks we tried to have her in our room. She was in her pack and play, and it wasn't connected to the bed because we didn't buy one because I was like, that's whatever. We're getting one this time.
Yeah.
Because I had a C-section too, so I literally could not get out of bed without like assistance for the first couple days, and so it was like literally like,
Are you okay?
Go get that, and then you can go back to it doesn't work.
And then you can go back to bed.
Anytime that
that's like okay. Hold on, I'm just gonna comment on that. I understand. I'm sympathetic. I understand that when women have babies, no matter how they have babies, it is a lot of trauma and it's exhausting, and I get that, and that's fine. But that is like the worst thing to hear, actually, is the no, it's fine, you can go back to sleep. Not how that works. I actually, is a side rant, but there was me and Cheryl. There was a whole lot of other things. Me and you have talked about that, but there was a whole lot of other things that had to do with that. But she was so emotionally burnt out when she like gave birth to Wyatt that I had like eventually I had to like put him to sleep because she just couldn't. She didn't have the patience. She didn't have the over the first couple weeks. She got so like overwhelmed that like she couldn't even like hold. If he would even like scream at like a certain decimal, she would just be like, I can't. And so like I learned to like put him to sleep, which is why he goes to sleep like super fast for me now because I've been doing it. But like, there was a point to me bringing that up. Nope. Okay. I forgot.
Well,
sorry.
When you said that, I was thinking because Amaryllis was 9 months old, and we got her to put herself to sleep.
Oh, that's what it was.
So we put her in bed, and she would just KO, like with a bottle, which people are like, "Yeah, you shouldn't do that. That's crazy." I don't give a crap. She went to sleep. But the thing is then we broke that because we missed her. And so we were like, I want to rock her to sleep because she's only going to be little so long. Like, what is she doesn't have to so let's just rock her. It's fine. That was
what, and Cheryl will argue with me that it wasn't this long, but it was. We did the same thing, and now, I mean, I tell everybody right now, I really don't care. I mean, yeah, like, I would like to sleep in the same bed as my wife at some point. It would be nice at night. But, however, I don't really mind it either. And I even said that when I was on second shift and like never saw anybody and was always at work. I told Cheryl that I was like, that's probably like one of my favorite times is coming home and like laying with him and like falling asleep, whatever. It was my favorite part of third shift too, because she would stay up in the morning. But fuck.
Who's the pregnant one here?
Yeah,
I think that you got the
I don't know. I had like 7 different things that I was gonna say, and then like I got to that point, and then it was gone.
Yeah, they blame my hormones. What do you got?
Sorry. There's probably a whole lot of other reasons why that's the case, but no. So when he was a baby, we got him to go to sleep in the pack. That's what I was gonna say. We got him to go to sleep by himself. The same thing. He would fall asleep with the bottle, and then we'd take it out and we'd sleep. And 9 times out of 10, he would sleep we got him sleeping through the whole night.
Mhm.
His first year. And then because of a lot of other things going on and the girls and stuff like that, we started shifting like when his nap time was, because he started getting, what is it, sleep regression, something like that. He started getting that, so then we switched his nap time and switched his bedtime, and then because he wouldn't go to sleep when like we would go to sleep, like he would be up at like 3-4 in the morning, and we needed to sleep, I would just put him to sleep next to me, like in my arms. And so now, because of that, because we had to do that, now he doesn't. He refuses to go to sleep by himself. If it's not like,
I mean, when Phil and I have,
which again, I really don't.
We have the same like thing too. So like, obviously, there's an age where the kids need to stop sleeping with you, like for numerous reasons. But I told Phil, I was like, so in American culture, first of all, is very independent very early. Baby has its own room. Baby sleeps in its own room. Baby does its own thing. A lot of cultures don't have that. A lot of cultures co-sleep with a whole family in a bed anyway, which always is curious to me is how they have more children. But anyway.
Go walk to the store.
Yeah. Can I go get some milk? Yeah, let's go.
Very quick, very efficient.
But the other part of it is so like, so Phil said, you and I, like as a married couple, sleep better when the other one is there. So who are we to be like, no, you need to go sleep alone in your room. Get. I was like, that's one of the things that I don't agree with. Like, I mean, and I'm not like, there's numerous things I don't agree with about a lot of things, but like, that's one of them. It's like, I don't understand how people are like, no, I need to sleep next to my person or whatever. My dog sleeps in my bed or whatever. And if you're like, you're a child that is learning the world,
figure it out on your own.
And I mean, Amarillo is pretty good about it. And Phil and I we practice safe sleep. We don't co-sleep with her. I don't have her sleep with him on a couch, like the rocking chair, because I've heard of and seen too many things where the kid's head will like slip underneath dad's arm and then they suffocate, and then wife wakes both of them up and is like, well, one of them up, and is like devastated. I told Phil, I said, I can't handle the thought of that, like, because I would lose you too. I know I would. Like, I would have blame for you, and I don't want that. So we're just not going to do it. Okay, cool. But she gets to be like 3. Cool. Then you can snuggle on the couch if they're both passed out. That's cool. Whatever. But that being said, now that she's a little bit bigger, she moves around in her crib a lot. And Phil and I are actually talking about like, because she sleeps so well, taking her bed and making it a toddler bed already, and just seeing how she does. But like, she sleeps with this little like washcloth bunny, so it's not big enough to. There's still no blankets. Like, we still are like, nah, no blankets.
That was a big, and I don't know, I'm a lot better at it, I guess, than that. Because Cheryl freaked out about that a lot. In fact, she still does sometimes, not as much. But especially when he was a baby, because he's always been, like, even when we like swallowed him, he's always needed like a blanket like over him. And so like, obviously when he moves at night, like the blanket would like get like on his face or whatever. And like me, it really didn't, again, it's different between men and women, but like to me, it really wasn't that big a deal. I was like, yeah, I
can tell you that that Phil was more concerned about like her stopping breathing in the middle of the night. I was. Like, I mean, I don't get me wrong. I still was like, like finger on the nose, like, you know, whatever. But he was like, staring at the monitor, being like, okay.
I had super high anxiety. It was weird. I've told Cheryl this. It was weird because I had super high anxiety about like noises. Like I'm a light sleeper anyway when it comes to noises, regardless. But like when he was first born, I was very sensitive to any noise, like any movement, anything. But that being said, like I said with the blanket thing, hey, calm down. But like I said with the blanket thing, like I wasn't concerned. I don't know. I wasn't concerned about that stuff. I was like, I can still see like his chest moving, so I'm not really concerned. But she was like, it happens all the time. People like it covers it, and like she
like, and even like the baby safe, like Afghans are like, oh, they have big holes. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. That's the scary thing. It doesn't matter. And those like things that they have around the crib, to like the crib bumpers, the kid's not gonna bust their head open on a crib bar. Factories need to stop producing these. Sorry, how many kids die? And one should be enough. Frankly, in my opinion, one should be enough. You should be done. And I know friends of mine who have had, I don't know what his deal is. It's got like, it needs a Viagra.
Sorry,
but I thought that the first time I didn't say it. But anyway, but like, my friend had, I think her child was 2, like on the cusp of being old enough. So she's like, oh yeah, he'll be fine. So she put in a blanket that a relative had made. And she just got one of those like spidey senses mom feelings. And she went in and checked. And he wasn't. And she was able to like get him going again. But she's like, I almost lost my kid. I almost lost my child last night. Like, and how terrifying is that? Like, I mean, I remember when Amaryllis had croup. And I remember having croup as a kid. And I know how awful it sounds, but it's different when you hear it in your own kid. And earlier in the day, it was like 6, 7 o'clock at night, and the kids were over with Phil's ex-wife, and you could hear something was up, and it sounded just like maybe she had like phlegm in the back of her throat, but her breathing, it wasn't consistently bad. It was more like once every 2 minutes she'd be like, that's it. And I was like, why is she making a noise? Like, is that a new noise that she learned? I was like, seems off. No, she's fine. Like, hey, and then
she did it again. I know, I see it. I'm trying to ignore it.
But like then, so Phil and I put her to bed. She's super easy to go down. She just like doesn't cry extra, doesn't really cry. I mean, she cries the appropriate amount, but not like
the appropriate amount.
It's seriously a concern if kids don't cry either. Like that's a symptom of typically like there's brain issues and like other things. But anyway,
there's a whole commercial about it.
Yeah. A lot of commercials, a lot of things.
Shit.
But it was probably like 10, 11 o'clock at night, and we had the monitor on next to us, and like the volume's up, obviously, especially because she does sleep through the night. So we typically have it up almost to the point that we can hear her breathing just regularly. But we also have like white noise in our room, and whatever.
I was gonna say that's what sucked about our baby monitor is that I have always slept with a fan, and he can't sleep without a fan. So like even on the baby monitor, most times you just hear whoa.
Yeah. But like we had
all of a sudden his face would be
in the monitor. But then we heard like the like the really like
heavy.
And it was, and like Phil and I both like shot up, and we were like, what is this? And it sounded like I had it in my head that she had somehow swallowed something that was lodged, because it sounded like something wasn't passing like through. And I was like, and we probably went like 75 on the city roads, like blew every stop sign, saw the most massive buck I've ever seen in the city. Like, thankfully it was a block up and we didn't hit it, because that would have been extra fun.
Fuck, but like, that's a whole ass milestone. You saw the biggest buck ever. You're going 75.
Yeah, and like, and I was like, drive faster. Like, drive faster. Because, I mean, thankfully we only live like 10, 15 minutes away from the hospital. But it's like, holy crap. Just like, there was a time when she cut her first tooth, which was earlier that month, so it was a month of many ER visits. Doctors had told us, get her in here quick. if she ever throws up.
Mhm.
They never told us when that stopped being a problem. And Phil will tell you too. Like, and it's one of the most annoying things about the healthcare system that we have, that we go through, is that they tell us things, but they don't say when you don't have to worry about it anymore.
Mhm.
Like, baby gets a fever, bring her back. Well,
People
until
get.
when?
I was gonna say,
Like,
babies get fevers all the time.
yeah, like until like 6 months.
Mhm.
Well, 6 months apparently was the cutoff for like the projectile vomiting, because she lost her whole bottle on me. Like, she was making weird noises after I put her down, and so I went back into the room to just kind of look at her, and she's still sleeping, and she's like whining. So I pick her up, and it was like
Blech.
like I was soaked, and I like Phil and Rachel were still there, and the kids were there, and I like screamed for Phil,
Mhm.
and I was like, "We gotta go now!" And we put her in the car seat, and like I hopped in the back, and she threw up again, and then when she threw up again, I said, "We need to drive." They're like, "Oh, she's fine." And it turns out she was cutting teeth, and we didn't like. And thankfully, that was the only time that she got sick,
Mhm.
cutting teeth. Like the other time, she got like a little feverish, whatever. But like that time, it was like,
Yeah.
they were in the hospital, and they're like, "Oh
But-
yeah, you don't worry about vomit. It's fine."
But
I'm like,
also-
what?
But
They're like,
also,
only if it's like bright yellow, then you worry about it.
I was
I'm
gonna
like,
say, but also for what it's worth, that was also, and not that it wasn't traumatic, but that also was put in your head ahead of time too,
Uh-huh.
as like a negative. You know what I mean?
Like,
As like a
watch
negative
for this,
thing.
because
Yeah.
if this happens, you get her here.
We're
Like,
like, as if that was never said, like, yeah, you probably
we've
would have been
concerned, but not like run to the ER. Like,
Yeah.
well, because when they're younger, then it could be like a obstructed bowel or something like that, and that's why. Wasn't the case, clearly, but thankfully also, because like,
Yeah.
yeah, kids, man,
So,
going gray.
not yet. You still got like 17.
I
You still got like 17 kids to go before you get to gray.
I feel like if I wasn't blonde, I'd definitely have gray between the last 4 years with COVID and then everything after. Like, there's been a lot of good, but there's been some stress. Like,
So, what do you think, in your knowledge of psychology, do you think that a lot of your maternal instincts, wants, whatever word you want to use for it,
choices
were put into your relationships when you were younger? Like, not necessarily like romantic relationships, but I mean like
for my
friends or
caregivers
anything.
and stuff like that? What are you asking? Sorry, I'm confused because I thought you were going a different direction, so I was preparing my answer, and it's not that.
Yeah, see, don't do that. No, I'm saying like, when you have kind of like your brother, for instance, when you have a maternal, even if it's not strictly like a maternal instinct over somebody, like
a caregiver role.
Yeah. But you still have that, like, I want the best for you, or I want this or that, like, caregiving mindset or whatever. Do you think that was pushed or thought of in your relationships that you had? Not necessarily romantic relationships, but like friendships and stuff like that. That it was more of
that I took care of my friends too?
Yeah, that it was more of a caring. It was more of a maternal caring thing than.
Yes and no. So for my friends that were younger than me, yeah, definitely, because they were not as mature as I was.
If nobody's gonna take care of them, I will.
Yeah, and like, a lot of people that I tended to gravitate towards had something that was going on in their life. For a long time, that was something that I never had to deal with individually, like broken home stuff or like whatever, and I didn't have any of that until later. So like, yeah, but I don't know. I don't think I'd characterize that as like maternal. I think that was just very much like my upbringing, that you're kind to people and that you help people. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you like take care of them, but you help when you can. And so like, seeing a kid crying in the playground and like going up and becoming friends with them, that's like not necessarily a mature thing, but it's like an empathy thing. And I think my parents both did a really good job growing in cultivating empathy within me through different conversations, through the examples that they had. And people like give me crap for it, but like I cry at movies, like, but I can put myself in it every time. And it's worse as a wife, it's worse as a mom, because now it's not just like, oh, that's sad, that person died. I'd feel sad if a person died. No, it's like,
now it's a whole,
my spouse died.
Like, what are they gonna do? What's gonna happen?
My child died.
How are their taxes gonna get paid?
No, but like that kind of thing. So it's like, I've always had, I think, a heart for other people too. And I think, this is like nature versus nurture, right? Like, what of these things am I born with? What of these things have been grown and cultivated? And what of life circumstances has done to impact both of those things that were like predispositions that just needed like a switch to be turned on? I don't know. I'm not that high in psychology to know that. I only have my
well, let's get into it.
I only have my undergrad, Zach. That's
no,
it.
But I asked that question because a lot of people, and you see it with, not in a, I don't know, not in a mean way if it's going to come off this way, but you see it a lot with women who can't get pregnant or have had miscarriages or something like that, where they take that energy and put it into something else, somebody else in a different way or whatever. And it's not necessarily like people think it is, of like they're hugging random kids on the side of the street of like, God, but it's a different, it's that same energy of like protectiveness and like maternal instincts. It's just put into something else.
Yeah, but then you have the whole like group of people too
who steal people's babies.
No, wow, that's an extreme that we're not talking about. I wasn't going criminal minds with this, but like,
okay, sorry,
but like, there's, I don't even know what to call it in the politically correct term, so I'm just going to call it what it is. There's just a group of people, and they are guys, girls, unsure of what they are, whatever. And they're like, they don't want children. I've never had an inkling to be a parent, so they argue that there is no maternal instinct. And what I've found through those people that don't want children, most times, and there are people that generally don't want kids. I'm not saying that that's not a thing, but they still have that caring drive for something. They end up with a dog or a cat or a goldfish, or they get involved in like
I love people who are very honest about that.
Like who
are people like, I like going out to bars and drinking all the time, so I don't want kids because I don't want to stop doing that. I like people like that.
Yeah, please.
I like people who are honest
instead of having kids and then having them end up in a system because you can't control your habits and you don't have the awareness to know, hey, look, I like doing, like, I'm taking it to the next level. Obviously, shouldn't say obviously. Drinking nightly with children is not conducive for your health or your kids' health.
Yep, I agree.
Point blank. Okay, like drinking in itself is not bad. Drinking in excess is bad. Excess could be still one drink a night. That's still excess. Anyway, I digress. But like, if you like lose followers or something, I'm sorry, but that's just how it is.
No,
but like, if you're somebody who struggles with a drug addiction and you haven't been able to kick it consecutively for like 5 years. Think about having children before having children.
That's what I'm saying. I love people that are honest about. There's
because I can tell you the number.
Seth Rogen. Seth Rogen says that
the number of kids that I worked with, and the number of kids in the foster care system in Michigan that are in because of drug abuse of their parents.
We could hold on.
Nuts, and it's just like, it's so sad because it's like, and for me, and I've never had addiction issues when it comes to substances and other things like that. Like, I haven't, like, thank you,
good job.
I never had a drinking problem. I smoked casually when I wanted to, like for cigarettes.
You were like the weirdest fucking smoker ever. Like, I get shit. Okay, I get shit for my smoking habit because comparatively to people that smoke is like very minimal comparatively for me. But like, you are like the fucking most random smoker I've ever met.
I would just be like, I'm really stressed, like really, 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 really stressed, like panic attack stress, and I'd have a cigarette.
I was gonna say there was one or two times where it was like a week to 2 week stretch, and then like.
But it wasn't like I don't crave.
Yeah, I know, that's what I'm saying.
But like
it's
when
so
I was
weird.
with Phil, so Phil had started smoking after he got separated with his ex-wife. Like he started smoking again. He had smoked when he was a kid, and then he stopped when he became a Christian. He stopped cold turkey. It was fine. And then when his life started to like upheave the last time, he took up smoking again. He was about a pack a day.
Yeah.
I was not.
I know.
But like I liked being around Phil. And so, like, when we first started talking, our friend would send us out she was, like, trying to orchestrate us. They were puppets, which worked, clearly. But, like, we went out to go get pizza from Little Caesars, I remember. And we sat outside of his car, and he started smoking. I was like, what if I have one? And, like, whatever. He's like, do you smoke? I was like, not really. But, like, sometimes. And, like, so when he wanted to stop smoking, I still wanted to have him out because like if we would go to like a bar or whatever, cigarette pairs really well with whiskey. And I found I couldn't do that. I can't be a casual smoker with my husband because he cannot be casual about smoking. Which like he fully admits, and then we went from smoking to vaping. Because it was better. No, it's not. It was bitter.
I'm glad that you admit that.
Oh, I know
because most people don't.
I know it's not because you're still inhaling toxins in your body. Like, and I only inhale like the essential oils. Like, there's still other crap in there. Anyway, I digress. But like, then I found his smoking got worse because he could do it inside. Yep. And so it'd be like the middle of the night, and you hear this little. People like, what are you doing? And he's like, he spent so much money on like those vape pens, and so I ended up buying to try to save money because I knew he still had this thing, and like we're working him down on nicotine. We ended up buying like a tank with whatever. I liked using those because I like doing tricks. For somebody who didn't really smoke professionally, we'll say it that way. Professionally, never smoked professionally. Wasn't a professional smoker, but like, I wasn't one of like, I wasn't a stoner. I wasn't one of those kids that did whatever. But like, I would take the vape and I would like do a big inhale and I'd make like little smoke rings and like little things. And he's like, "Well, it's so cool." I was like, "Yeah." Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. I'm the bomb. It's fine. Thanks. I know. I can do this thing that makes me look like a D-bag. It's totally fine. Like a douche. But then like, yeah. So then he ended up finding these nicotine pouches. He tucks in the lip, and he started on the higher ones of like the nicotine content, and he's been on level 2s for the last year and a half. But it's I still get after him, like not like get after him. He probably thinks different, but I'm still concerned because they still have things that are still carcinogenic in them. Like, yes, they only have nicotine, but like stuffing something in your mouth all the time is still a cause of oral cancer. Like, and that's like jaw removing stuff. And the way that he talks about how he wants to be treated for cancer is to not be treated. And I'm like, excuse me, you're my best friend. You don't have a choice to die. Can we? Like, you don't get to die. You don't get to die. You get chained in the basement. You don't get to die. Yeah. Like, I'm like, excuse you can't do that. Like, that's not. Which, I mean, obviously isn't true. He can do what he wants. It's his body. But I'm like, please consider the fact that you have 4 children and somebody who like really, really loves you, and I'm already getting shafted because you're 10 years older than I am, so the likelihood of you living as long as I do isn't high, like realistically. And so it's like, don't shorten it even more. If you can, like I was like, switch to gum, and he'll like do that for a while. But it's hard, and it's more of I think it's more of an oral fixation thing too, and it just like it's a routine. I've said that it's astonishing to me, and I understand that, and I've told Cheryl this. Do you still smoke, by the way? Yes. Okay. I understand that me saying this is very hypocritical. However, I know this. So it's not. Oh, but it still is. It still is. But
but it astounds me at the amount of people everywhere, like actors, singers, like famous people, all the way to like in the gutter people, can quit any drug. There are heroin addicts that have been heroin addicts for 30 years that can quit heroin and never fucking do it again. But for some reason, smoking is in there have been heroin addicts and meth addicts that have said that it's a lot harder to quit smoking than it is for any of those drugs. It's just so crazy to me.
Like, and the thing for me too, like, so like going back to like how I've never.
And it is too, but I think
but I've never had that. Like, I've never been like, I need it.
No, I think,
and I just don't.
No, I think it's more of a routine thing after a while. I don't think it's really
like a habit. Because that I can't relate with either. Because it's like,
because like I like, obviously I noticed that I've gotten moody like the couple times I've tried to quit. Like I know that I have, but it's never been, I don't know. Maybe it's portrayed differently. So because I have never reacted that way, I'm like, it's not that bad. But I've never had that. It's more of a reoccurring thing in my head of a routine, really. Mm-hmm. It's like, so normally.
Well, so you're a psychologist to me again.
Yeah.
Have you tried
looking at why you need those things?
No, but like, have you looked at like replacing it with something? So
yes,
but somebody that I knew,
my job wouldn't allow it. But yes, I have.
What?
So I found something that did work for a long time. Every time I tried to quit, I would either chew gum, or I found these toothpicks that are really cool. I actually still have them, but they're supposed to be for quitting, but they're like infused with like berry juice.
Oh, okay.
And it has like this. I can't remember what the name of the berry is, but it like has like a numbing thing to it. So like your mouth gets all like fizzy. It's like, I don't know how to explain it. But it's like not. It doesn't have nicotine in it. It doesn't have. It's all natural. Like it just gives like that. I don't know. But that worked. But I can't have them at work.
You can't have them outside at work?
I can have them outside at work. But
how is that any different than having a cigarette at work?
I guess it's not. I just don't think about it when I'm outside.
Oh.
So it's a routine.
So it's not a work problem. It's a you problem.
Well, no, the gum
What's in the box?
No,
Let's look.
The gum is a work problem.
Yeah, the gum's a work problem, but it doesn't sound like the toothpick thing.
No, the toothpick.
It sounds like it's just somebody saying it's a work problem. I don't know how it is. I do the same thing with
possibly.
Yeah. But no, and I think too.
Like, where are we at for time?
We're getting up there. An hour. Probably should wrap up.
Yeah, we still got time.
You want to wrap up and go grab a taco?
We still got a little bit of time.
Like 8
minutes. But I want to.
Hold on, time out. But I gotta check something.
Can I bring this up first?
Hold on. My grandma is asking me if I'm still coming over.
Yeah, but you can listen to me. You can multitask.
I'm pregnant. That's not an option.
That's not a thing. So when we were talking about the blanket thing, you watch CSI. I know you did. You watched CSI, right?
When I was little and probably shouldn't have been watching CSI.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
I've
watched most of SVU up until.
No, I'm talking the original.
And then I've watched Criminal Minds.
Nope.
The originals.
The original CSI.
Really
if you haven't watched the original CSI, you're not gonna know what episode I'm talking about. I'm about to describe it. It's not important.
I'm so excited about the new Criminal Minds.
Okay, so there has been an episode of CSI that has stuck out in my head, which is counterproductive to me saying that I wasn't worried about the blanket thing when Wyatt was born, is because there's an episode. I don't remember half the episodes of CSI. If I think about it right now, I can't tell you most of the plot points. And I watched a lot of CSI, especially the original CSI before they had all the extra shit. But there's an episode that sticks out specifically, and it was an episode about a baby suffocating. and they thought it was they
this.
thought it was the brother or something like that, and it turned out to be a fiber from the blanket got stuck in their throat.
Boy, nothing like TV shows to create paranoia in people, right?
And they okay, so yeah. So when you were talking about the blanket thing, that was all that went through my head.
That was a while ago.
That's great. I know.
A ghoul.
A ghoul.
A ghoul.
Oh no.
Oh no. I'm not a Uber.
Oops, sorry. But anyway. Thanks.
I guess we ended up talking about parent stuff. I don't know what we actually had agreed to talk about, but we just talked about the younger parent stuff. Not younger kid parenting stuff.
I was gonna say I just asked you how did it feel to be a parent, and that's kind of just what we talked about. I do want to. You don't have to have a long-winded answer. I mean, if you want to, you can, because we got a little bit of time. But I did want to ask you, how does it feel? I don't know how to word this in not a mean way. Because me and you, well, no, because me and you have talked about it, and it goes both ways for me and you. But how does it feel being a parent of your own kid? Does that change?
Okay, so
does that change it, or is it kind of basically the same?
I feel like it's the same, but I also know the capacity to which I love my technically stepdaughters.
Mm-hmm.
I know that I go full mama bear alongside their bio mom most times if there's something going on. And I am very like, no, this is what it is. I'm very much still I want to shape them into really good humans. And that means being hard sometimes. I think the biggest conflict that I'm going to see, and I don't really see it now because Amaryllis is one, is like when Amaryllis is older, she's not going to see me how Allie and Emma see me. Where they see me as like, hey, you're our mom. They've never called me mom intentionally, but you're our mom, but you're not our mom. So I'm more comfortable talking about boys with you. I'm more comfortable talking about blah, blah, blah with you because you're safer than a parent, but you're still a parent. So I know that you still call me out of my crap if it's bad, but I'm going to come through you first, and then you help me figure out what to do and if we should talk to the other two. Yeah. And there's that aspect to it that obviously I'm not going to have with Amaryllis, but it's kind of cool because how I see it is how I handle my conversations with my 14-year-old about boys, how I handle my conversation with my 11-year-old about friendships and like all the things in between is how they are going to handle it with Amaryllis. Because Amaryllis is going to go to her 20-something-year-old sister. Before me. And so it's like, I need to be, and it's something that I've been conscious of, and I was conscious of it before I even had Amaryllis, but like, I almost said his name just now. But like, you know, knowing that how I treat them is more important than how the rest of the world says I should treat them. Because there's a lot of really crappy examples of step parents. There's a lot of great examples of step parents, and I don't believe in being a step parent that's like all happy, happy, joy, joy all the time, because it's like, well, one, that's not a reality. Like, you can't be like cool with everything they do and everything that happens, like family wise. And mixed family wise, you can't, or blended, I guess mixed isn't the right word, blended family wise, you can't do it. It's not. And I think it not conducive, excuse me. It helps. And me and you have talked about that aspect of it, because we've both in the same way as you with the girls and me with the girls had to come into that dynamic. I mean, I got it a lot younger than you got it when you came in, but I had like 2 years before preteen hit, and I was like, oh my god. Came into that, and I got lucky. And I tell people this all the time, and this is in no way to tell people how to step parent or anything like that. But I got lucky because I got the girls early. So yeah, they were still like Emma still was developing like she was like 7. So she was still old enough where she had memories before me. But Alice,
Not really. Like she has a few, but most of her life has been me in it. Like, so I got lucky in that regard. Is that my presence, not so much authority, but my presence as a parent has always been in their life long enough to where it basically is I am their parent.
See, I think
whereas like some people have to, and me and you have talked about that ease into it when you come into it, that you can't just come in and be like, well, I'm your dad's girlfriend or I'm your mom's boyfriend, so we're gonna do things my way this way now. Like you can't do that. You have to let it ease in and kind of find your relationship and your place in that.
Yep, and I've told people, and I'm by no means an expert in step parenting either. I do think it's one of the things
I think we're both doing all right.
Stronger with. I do. I have a really good relationship with my kids, all of them. I have a really good relationship with their mom. It's taken time, but it's really good. I mean, people don't understand it. They're like, how are you still friends and whatever? It's like, because one, there's grace. Two, I know there's two sides to every story. Three, people are allowed to change for the better. And with boundaries set in place, because there are boundaries on both sides. There's boundaries. And with boundaries set in place, it's great. But like going back, one of the biggest things that I think people coming into a broken, fragmented part of the family is they try to be that whole piece. And you can't be that whole piece. A big thing that I actually talked to, she's never going to listen to it, so I don't really care. But like my dad's girlfriend, one of the big, and I'm grown up, and Nathan's pretty much grown up, Logan's grown up, like we're all adults here. But like one of the big things is when she had moved in, it all became her decorations. It all became her stuff. It all became that. And it's like, you know, she was talking to me and just being like, oh, it's really frustrating because your dad's like, you know, doesn't like everything and da-da-da-da-da, and like vice versa. And dad's also talking to me and being like, you know, they're like, they're not talking crap, but they're just like, this is stressful. They haven't been meshed with a new person in a long time to the point of like living together. And I was like, well, I know that I'm still in my 20s, but here's what worked for me. Husband, well, at the time, boyfriend, had pictures up from his kids when he didn't know me. Not his ex-wife, not like marriage pictures and like hanging on to whatever, that's different. But like pictures from his past, from people in his past, from experiences of his past, he had those up. I had pictures of my past as well. Not ex-boyfriends, not, you know, whatever.
Just me.
You were never a boyfriend. Let's not construe that.
No, I wasn't saying
I looked at the camera in a long time, but that was never a thing.
No, I wasn't saying that. I was saying you just had pictures of me. It wasn't an ex-boyfriend. It was.
Yeah, no. But like having that.
Wouldn't want that guy in the
and then, so you both have pictures of your past, but then you are intentional about putting up pictures together. I think you need to do that to show the cohesion of, yes, we both have things that we're like, we have in the past, and it's okay to have those things. It's okay to talk about those things. Those things are safe here. But we are also working together for something new. Like, my advice was not taken, but it's like, it was like, it's something that I really think helped me and helped my husband in the time that he was going through, and helped the kids to know that like, she's not trying to omit our mom. She's not trying to take her place. She's not trying to do this thing. And they don't have any other references in regards to motherly figures, because Phil didn't date anybody
in between that.
Really. I mean, he talked to a couple ladies, but like, it wasn't, I mean, he talked to me too, so I don't know. Before we were like, hey, we're actually doing this. We both were talking to people, so I'm not like, but I know that's like a big thing, and it's like, and I didn't really have a step parent figure, put it that way, is I'm not calling, and again, they're not going to listen to this, so I don't care. I'm not calling either one of them my step parents unless there's a ring. I'm just not.
So I can't tag you in this?
You can.
Oh.
They don't listen to it.
Oh. Rude.
Well, they're not. Like they're. I mean, if they do, I'll be very astounded.
No, but I do.
I'm pretty sure I'm on one of their shit lists anyway.
I do want to. Cool. I do.
Wait. I put up boundaries. Yeah. And people don't like me to put up boundaries.
Anyway,
I just swore.
Oh no!
I haven't sworn this whole time. I was really proud of myself.
Yeah.
I'm working on it.
I honestly didn't notice, but I appreciate it.
I did because I was like when I said D-bag before, you're like, what a douche. And I was like, like I'm trying to keep it G-ish.
Anyway, but I've said we'll stop after this. We're just gonna
I'm hungry.
Sorry, we're just gonna keep going.
Pregnant lady's getting hungry.
But okay, I'm wrapping it up.
Like Venom.
But I think we are hungry. Anyway, no, but I've said that, and I've said that about relationships. We could talk about that the next time in length, because me and you have talked about that before. But I've said that in relationships. I think that's a big expectation that faults a lot of relationships in general, is that they think, and especially marriages too, that they think that once you're in a relationship, or especially when you get married, that you're just supposed to forget everything that happened before. And that's not realistic. You're going to have, me and Cheryl talked about this, and I've talked about this numerous times with people, but everything that you've gone through makes you the person that your significant other falls in love with. So for them to say, I want you to forget this part of you, takes away from the feeling, and maybe that's me overthinking it, but takes away from the feeling of they truly love me.
Well, and it's not, I don't think it's just that, but I think if you say, hey, you can't think about that person that you were in a relationship with since you were 15, they're not allowed to be mentioned, they're not allowed to be talked about. So if you still have processing to do with that, and they're shutting that down, it's like, this is not a safe topic. You are now needing to find somebody else to talk to about that, which creates a gap, right? It creates, and if you think about so it's not a perfect analogy, but Phil and I had talked about this a year or two ago, before we got married, I think, when we were talking about making boundaries for certain things in our life, because there were boundaries, but we needed them a little tighter. But it's your relationship essentially is a sapling, right? And every year grows stronger, ideally, and you have the rings. Again, it's not a perfect analogy, because you have to look at the tree as growing, but only a stump. So
I got it.
Yeah. But I told him, I said, the big things that are going to split you are the wedges that come in, and how deep you allow that wedge to come in. If it's just sitting there on the surface and somebody taps it and you take it out, there'll be a little thing, but the tree is going to grow around it, right? And it's going to grow back together, and it won't be smooth, perfect, whatever, but it will grow. I said, but if you just keep letting that wedge come in, it's going to split. And it could split something that was the greatest piece of whatever. All wood splittable. All of it. And but not allowing somebody to talk. I mean, Phil's one of the biggest things with Phil, and you know this because you know what happened in 2019. And one of the biggest things is we were 3 months into a relationship, and I sat him down and I said, here it is. And I waited. And he didn't run. He sat and he talked with me, and he was I'm sorry. Sorry that happened. I'm sorry that you went through that. Now, has it come up since with some ties and concerns of different things? Yes. But the thing is, it's a safe thing to talk about with him. Just his past relationship and relationships. I mean, there wasn't really anybody significant except for his ex-wife, because he dated a chick for maybe a month. But they're all fair to talk about, and to analyze and look at here's things that I did well in the situation, here's things that I didn't do well, here's things that you I can see as an outsider that you did well, or asking the questions why, he asked me why did you stay, why would you do that, and it's you don't that part is hard to understand, but it's I told him, I was why did you stay?
Fair question.
Because you get used to a pattern, you get used to what it is, and until somebody goes, hey, that's not okay.
But I think having that mindset, because I think that helps and I will go on record. I haven't said this in a while, but I will again because it's true and honest. And I've said this to you too. There was a lot of processing I did, and there was a lot of processing that I was still doing in earlier episodes of this, especially like the first year we did this, where I was talking about my past relationship. And although all those things are true, and all those feelings are true, and me and Cheryl talking about it and breaking down things that happened, in a different light now, that I look back on those and I go, although I wasn't wrong, I look back on that and being like, okay, but that was just me processing it from my perspective. And I admitted that
emotionally mature.
And I know and I admitted that then, that there was that a lot of that was my perspective because my one, I never asked her perspective, and two, I didn't talk about my perspective to anybody. And so I had, going back to your point, but then going forward to what I'm talking about.
We're gonna wrap up, dude.
I know. Going back to that point of the safe space, though, because me and Cheryl acknowledged that going into that relationship of like, you have a past, I have a past, you were with somebody for 8 years, I was with somebody for 8 years. Like, we have a lot of shit that we're bringing into this. So we should be able, I told her from the beginning, I'm like, I'm still fucking processing a lot of this shit. And she was still processing hers because she had only been out of that for a year, maybe.
Well, and we're like,
but then going into that, when we started doing the podcast, though, that's why that was so nice for me, is because it was just me and her. We were analyzing it, we were talking about it, we were going in different, okay, well, what if this?
Well, and the thing too that I think is cool, so like, you obviously have yours documented. Bill and I don't, and I'm okay with that because there's a lot of things that I don't need people to know, like, because I just don't.
There's a lot of things I said that just sound different than how I actually meant them.
Yeah, that's fine. But like, something that also, like, tying it back to like kids and like blended families, something Phil and I are really intentional about is fighting.
Yep.
And fighting in front of them, and it used to freak him out. Because of how fights would typically end up with Phil gone. Fights would typically end up with like knockout, drag out, screaming, whatever. And there's been like, Phil and I have had knockout, drag outs, especially after we lost a baby. Like, things got real
hectic.
They were intense. But, and it's something that we've transitioned into, like, our conversations with our teenagers too. It's like, you can get heated with me. Like, you can't be nasty to me. Like, and if you are nasty to me, there are consequences. Like, I can't give consequences to my husband, but I can give consequences to you. And like, but doing it that way. And then, like, one of the big things is, like, there was a big conversation with our kid, and all three of us parents were involved in this. And it was a sit down, like, we're all talking to you about this now kind of deal. And it wasn't anything crazy, but it was out of her character. And so we talked to her about it, and her mom goes, I think I'm going to go because this doesn't seem to be going anywhere right now. And it's not good for me to sit and try to do this over and over again and just continuously I don't want to get to the point where I'm angry. So I'm going to go, and we can talk more about it later. And she was like, what are you doing? You can't leave. And I looked at her and I said, how do your dad and I handle something? Well, if you get too escalated, like, one of you goes and says, yeah, then what? You come back and you fix it. Yeah, you come back and you fix it. That's taking a lot for me because I don't like the whole, like, it's taking a lot for him too. He wants to fix it with a real quick fix. And I want to fix, like, dig deep in fix.
Long term.
And I also don't, like, it's one of those things where it's like, you can't leave this conversation, but I can.
But I can.
Because if you leave, you might not come back. That's where it came from.
Yep.
If you leave, you might not come back. I know I'm coming back. I don't know if you're coming back.
Been there.
And so like, you can't go.
Yep.
But I need you to stop being so mad at me. And calm down. But you can't leave to go calm down. You can't have a quiet space.
Hey, are you done being mad at me yet? Hey,
Yeah.
are you done being mad at me yet?
Yeah,
Hey,
like-
hey, are you done?
Well, and there's like the right way to do it and a wrong way to do it too. And like I told my kids that. I was like, sometimes I left and it was not the right way to leave. It was not the right way to leave without telling you kids that I'm leaving to go take a breather. I'm going to go run to the store. Typically what I do is run to the store, walk around the store a couple times, and then I'll come back. Because I don't like going to drive because gas is expensive.
No shit.
So I was going to the store all the time though too. So whatever. But like coming back and like Phil called me out on that because the one time I just left. I left my phone there too. I was like, I need to get out now, or I'm going to turn into somebody that I don't want to be. Because I've resorted to that in past relationships where I just matched their
energy.
Yeah. And so I just left. And I didn't bring my phone. I didn't tell anybody where I was going. I didn't say how long. And I remember I was totally calm when I came back, probably half hour, 45 minutes later. Totally calm, ready to just like move on from whatever stupid thing it was. Because it was an accumulation of all this other stuff. Then I get to the door and Phil's there and he's like, you need to go apologize right now because she's been crying. And she didn't know if you were coming back. And I was like, holy crud. I was like, I'm a bad person.
You want to hear what you probably have? If you listen to the podcast, you probably heard this a few times. Have you heard my story about my mom to make you feel even worse?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what happened with them. That's exactly what happened with them.
Yeah.
If you ask her, I still have trauma now at 20 years old. So
20?
30.
I was like,
Sorry.
oh, wow.
I meant I still had it at 20. That's what I meant.
On that note,
we're going to wrap it up because you're hungry.
I am.
Yeah.
And
we have to do like 4 different subjects today organically.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Came back like a Slim Shady. Slim Shady song.
Like
Come back to the main point.
Like a Slim Shady LP. Anyways, thanks for talking.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm glad it worked out. I know it's like rushed and hazard. Like, hey, are you free?
No, it's fine. It happens. I wasn't sleeping today anyway. It's fine.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. And I actually wasn't sleeping. I tried to go to sleep before I messaged you, and I didn't. That's why I messaged you. I was like, oh, whatever. I'm not falling asleep anyway.
But,
you like my studio? It looks so nice.
I do.
It makes the podcast look nice. It doesn't actually look nice in here.
You say well, now you ruined it.
Okay, now we gotta go.